From a very young age, something inside you told you that your life would not follow the same path as everyone else in your family. While others were comfortable repeating the same routines generation after generation, you quietly felt an inner voice whispering that your story would be different. Maybe you could not explain it when you were younger, but the feeling was always there. It was like a silent knowing that your life carried a greater purpose. Many chosen individuals experience this strange sense of separation before success ever appears. Think about it for a moment. Every family has patterns. Some families struggle financially for decades, sometimes even generations. People grow up believing that poverty, limitations, or mediocrity are simply their destiny. But then one person appears in the bloodline who refuses to accept those limitations. That person begins questioning everything. If you are watching this right now, there is a good chance that person might be you. You may have been called stubborn, unrealistic, or even arrogant because of your dreams. Maybe relatives laughed when you talked about building wealth, starting a business, or achieving something extraordinary. But deep inside, you knew your dreams were not foolish. They were signals of a different path waiting for you. The truth is, many wealthy individuals first felt misunderstood before they became successful. Their ideas were bigger than the environment they grew up in. Their mindset refused to stay trapped in the same financial story their family had accepted for years. So let me ask you something powerful. Have you always felt like you were meant for more than the life you were surrounded by? If that question resonates with you, comment below. I am the one who will break the cycle. And if this message speaks to your soul, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Mirror of the Soul, because this channel was created to awaken the hidden power inside people exactly like you. One of the clearest signs that someone is destined to become the wealthiest person in their family is their refusal to accept financial limitations as permanent reality. While others say things like, money is hard to make, or people like us never become rich, you quietly reject those beliefs. Maybe you heard those sentences growing up. Maybe your relatives repeated them so often that they sounded like universal truth, but something inside you always questioned them. You looked around the world and saw proof that wealth was possible. People built businesses, created inventions, and transformed their lives from nothing. Instead of accepting scarcity, your mind kept searching for solutions. You began asking different questions. How do people build wealth? What habits create financial success? What skills should I learn to change my life? These questions are not random thoughts. They are the first sparks of transformation. Many of the world's most successful individuals were once surrounded by environments that discouraged ambition, but they developed the courage to challenge those beliefs. That courage became the foundation for their future success. Another powerful sign that you may become the wealthiest person in your family is your hunger for knowledge. While many people spend their free time scrolling through entertainment or complaining about life, you feel drawn toward learning. You might watch educational videos, read books about success, or listen to podcasts that expand your mindset. Sometimes people around you don't understand why you spend so much time improving yourself. They might even joke that you think too much about the future. But here is something powerful. Wealth rarely comes to people who stop learning. Growth creates opportunity. Knowledge builds confidence. And the more you understand the world, the more clearly you can see paths that others overlook. Many successful entrepreneurs began exactly the same way, by becoming obsessed with self-education. They studied how money works. They learned new skills. They explored ideas that their environment had never exposed them to. So let me ask you something important. Do you feel excited when you learn something new that could improve your life? If yes, that curiosity is a powerful sign of future success. Destiny alone does not create wealth. The people who eventually become the richest in their families almost always share one important trait. They are willing to work harder than the average person. This does not mean they enjoy suffering. It simply means they understand that extraordinary results require extraordinary effort. When others stop after doing the minimum, they keep pushing forward. Maybe you have experienced this yourself. Perhaps you stayed awake late at night planning ideas, learning new skills, or imagining a better future. While others were relaxing, you were quietly preparing for something bigger. Hard work is not always glamorous. In fact, most people never see the struggles behind success. They only see the final results, the wealth, the lifestyle, the recognition. But behind every successful person are years of discipline, sacrifice, and persistence. The real question is this: are you willing to keep going even when nobody believes in you yet? If your answer is yes, you already possess one of the most powerful traits of future wealth creators. One of the clearest traits of people who eventually become wealthy is their ability to see possibilities where others see obstacles. Most people are trained to focus on problems. When something goes wrong, they complain, blame circumstances, or give up entirely. But your mind seems to work differently. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask a much more powerful question: how can I turn this situation into an opportunity? Think about some of the greatest success stories in the world. Many businesses were created during economic crises. Many innovators started their journey after experiencing failure. What separated them from everyone else was not luck, it was perspective. They trained their minds to look beyond immediate problems and search for hidden opportunities. If you are destined to become the richest person in your family, you probably already notice this trait in yourself. When others panic about financial struggles, you start thinking creatively. Maybe you brainstorm new ideas, side hustles, or ways to improve your skills. Instead of feeling powerless, you become curious. This mindset is incredibly powerful because opportunities are everywhere, but only a few people are trained to recognize them. Wealth is often created by solving problems that others ignore or complain about. If you naturally think this way, you already possess the mindset of someone who can transform challenges into prosperity. Another powerful sign that you may become the wealthiest in your family is your willingness to take risks that others are too afraid to attempt. Now, this does not mean reckless decisions. It means having the courage to step into uncertainty when you believe something meaningful is possible. Most people remain stuck in the same financial situation because fear controls their choices. They fear failure, criticism, and the unknown, so they choose safety instead of opportunity. But people who eventually create wealth understand that growth always involves risk. Maybe you have experienced this in your own life. Perhaps you have thought about starting a business, learning a new skill, or investing in something that could change your future. While others told you to play it safe, your intuition kept pushing you toward something bigger. History shows that nearly every successful person had to step into uncertainty at some point. They did not have guaranteed outcomes. They only had belief, courage, and determination. The real question is not whether risk exists. The real question is whether you are willing to grow beyond your comfort zone. If you feel a strong inner pull toward bold decisions, it may be a sign that you are meant to lead your family into a new financial chapter. Many people spend money without ever thinking about how it could grow. They see money only as something to spend on immediate desires. But people who become financially successful often develop a different perspective. They start thinking like investors. Instead of asking, "What can I buy today?" they ask a deeper question: "How can this money grow tomorrow?" This shift in thinking changes everything. It transforms money from a temporary resource into a powerful tool for building long-term wealth. If you are destined to become the richest in your family, you might already notice this mindset forming within you. Perhaps you find yourself researching investments, businesses, or ways to multiply income. You start realizing that financial freedom is not just about earning money, it is about managing and growing it wisely. Many wealthy individuals built their fortunes not simply by working harder, but by learning how money works. They studied investments, assets, and financial systems. Over time, their money began working for them instead of the other way around. And this realization can be life-changing. Once you begin thinking like an investor, every financial decision becomes more intentional. You start seeing the long-term impact of your choices. One of the biggest differences between people who eventually become wealthy and those who stay stuck is how they respond to failure. Most people see failure as proof that they should stop trying. They feel embarrassed, discouraged, and defeated. But people who achieve extraordinary success interpret failure differently. Instead of seeing it as the end of the journey, they treat it as valuable feedback. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes an opportunity to grow stronger. If you are meant to become the richest person in your family, you might already have experienced moments where things did not work out the way you expected. Maybe a project failed. Maybe someone doubted you. Maybe you tried something and it didn't succeed immediately. But instead of quitting forever, something inside you kept pushing forward. You analyzed what went wrong. You adjusted your strategy. You kept learning. This resilience is one of the most powerful qualities any future leader or entrepreneur can develop. Success rarely arrives without obstacles. The people who reach the top are simply the ones who refuse to give up when things become difficult. Perhaps the strongest sign that you are destined to become the richest in your family is a deep sense of responsibility. It's not just about personal success anymore. It's about transformation for everyone connected to you. Maybe you have looked at your family's struggles and silently promised yourself that things will be different one day. You imagine a future where your parents live comfortably, where your children grow up with opportunities you never had, and where financial stress no longer controls your family's life. This feeling is powerful because it creates purpose. When success becomes bigger than personal ambition, motivation becomes stronger. You stop working only for yourself. You begin working for a legacy. Many people who changed their family's financial destiny started with exactly this mindset. They carried the weight of responsibility, but they also carried hope. They believed that their efforts could open doors for generations to come. And perhaps that is why you are watching this video today. Something inside you knows that your story is not just about survival, it is about transformation. One powerful sign that you may become the richest in your family is your natural ability to think beyond the present moment. While many people focus only on immediate pleasures or short-term comfort, your mind often drifts toward the future. You imagine where your life could be in 5, 10, or even 20 years. That long-term vision is not accidental. It is the beginning of strategic thinking. Most people remain financially stuck because they live day to day without considering the long-term consequences of their choices. Spending habits, lifestyle decisions, and career paths are often chosen based on convenience rather than purpose. But people destined to create wealth tend to think differently. They see today as a stepping stone toward something greater. Maybe you have experienced moments where you sacrificed temporary comfort to invest in your future. Perhaps you spent time learning new skills while others were relaxing, or you saved money while others were spending freely. These choices might seem small at first, but over time they create enormous results. Successful individuals often share one common habit. They make decisions based on where they want to be, not just where they are today. This mindset allows them to build momentum while others remain stuck in cycles that never change. Another sign that you might be destined to become the wealthiest in your family is your willingness to walk a path that others may not understand. Success often requires making decisions that look unusual to people around you. When someone begins thinking differently about money, opportunities, and ambition, they may feel isolated. Friends may question their priorities. Family members might worry that they are taking unnecessary risks. But those who eventually succeed understand something important. Greatness often begins with standing alone. This does not mean rejecting your loved ones. It simply means accepting that not everyone will share your vision at the beginning. Many dreamers and innovators experience this stage before they reach success. Sometimes the journey toward financial transformation requires courage. It requires the ability to trust your intuition even when external support is limited. That strength is what separates ordinary paths from extraordinary ones. Life rarely shapes strong individuals through comfort alone. Often, the greatest drive for success comes from difficult experiences. People who eventually transform their family's financial future often carry a deep memory of struggle. Maybe you watched your parents work incredibly hard just to provide basic necessities. Maybe you experienced moments where money was tight and opportunities felt limited. Those experiences can either break someone's spirit or ignite a powerful determination to change the future. If you are destined for extraordinary success, pain does not defeat you, it fuels you. Instead of becoming bitter about past struggles, you transform them into motivation. Every obstacle becomes a reminder of why you refuse to give up. This emotional drive is incredibly powerful. When people are deeply connected to their purpose, they develop resilience that cannot easily be shaken. Challenges may slow them down, but they rarely stop them completely. Another powerful sign of future financial success is curiosity. Many people dream about wealth but never take time to understand how it actually works. They hope for luck or sudden opportunity, but they rarely study the systems that create financial growth. If you are meant to become the richest in your family, you might notice that you are naturally curious about money. You want to understand business, investments, entrepreneurship, and economic systems. You realize that wealth is not random. It follows patterns and principles. This curiosity pushes you to ask questions. How do successful people manage their finances? What habits allow businesses to grow? How do investments create long-term stability? The more you learn, the more confident you become about your ability to change your future. Education, formal or self-taught, often becomes a key turning point for people who break financial barriers in their families. Knowledge opens doors that once seemed invisible. One of the most underrated traits of successful individuals is patience. In a world that constantly promotes instant rewards, people who achieve long-term success often develop the ability to delay gratification. This means they are willing to sacrifice temporary pleasures for greater rewards later. While others spend money immediately, they invest. While others give up when progress feels slow, they remain consistent. If you are destined to become the wealthiest person in your family, you might already practice this discipline. You understand that real success takes time. Building skills, businesses, and investments requires patience and commitment. Many people underestimate the power of consistency. Small decisions made daily, saving money, learning skills, improving discipline, eventually compound into massive results. The final sign in this part of the journey is something many people overlook. Sometimes the person destined to become the wealthiest in their family unknowingly inspires those around them. Maybe your determination encourages younger relatives to dream bigger. Maybe your work ethic motivates friends to pursue their own goals. Even when you are still building your success, your mindset begins influencing others. Leadership often begins quietly. It starts with the way you think, speak, and act. Over time, people notice your discipline and ambition. They begin seeing you as someone who represents possibility. This influence is powerful because wealth is not just about money, it is also about impact. The person who changes their family's financial future often becomes a guide for the next generation. So ask yourself this meaningful question: who might be watching your journey and feeling inspired by your determination? If this message resonates with you, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Mirror of the Soul so you never miss the insights that could help you unlock your highest potential. And before we continue to the final section, tell me in the comments, do you truly believe you are meant to become the richest in your family? Or are you still discovering your path? One of the deepest signs that you may become the richest in your family is that your vision goes beyond money. Yes, financial success is important, but the thought that truly excites you is the idea of building something that lasts for generations. Many people chase money for temporary comfort, luxury items, status, or quick pleasures. But those who change the destiny of their family think differently. They think about legacy. They imagine what their children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren might experience because of the choices they make today. Maybe you have imagined providing opportunities that your family never had before. Perhaps you dream about building businesses, owning properties, or creating financial security that protects the people you love. These thoughts are not just dreams, they are the early stages of legacy thinking. History shows that many wealthy families started with one person who decided to change the story. One individual had the courage to build something greater than themselves. That person became the turning point in their family's history. Another powerful sign that you may become the wealthiest in your family is a deep sense of purpose. Sometimes it feels like your life is meant for something bigger than just survival. You might feel an inner calling pushing you toward growth, success, and impact. Even when things feel difficult, that quiet voice inside you continues to remind you that your story is not ordinary. Many successful individuals describe a similar feeling before they reach their breakthroughs. They could not fully explain it, but they sensed that their journey had meaning. This belief became a source of strength when obstacles appeared. Purpose is powerful because it fuels persistence. When someone believes their journey matters, they refuse to quit easily. They push through doubt, criticism, and setbacks because something deeper keeps guiding them forward. Let me ask you a question that might reveal something important about your journey. Do you ever feel like your life is preparing you for something greater than you can currently see? Every family carries patterns. Some patterns are positive, while others quietly limit growth. Sometimes financial struggles continue for generations simply because no one questions the beliefs that created them. But every once in a while, someone appears who refuses to accept those limitations. That person begins challenging old ideas about money, success, and opportunity. Instead of repeating the past, they create a new future. If you are watching this video, there is a possibility that you are that person in your family. You may be the one who is meant to break cycles that have existed for decades. Breaking generational patterns is not always easy. It requires courage, discipline, and a willingness to think differently from those around you. But when one person changes their mindset, the ripple effect can transform an entire family. So think deeply about this. Are you ready to become the turning point in your family's financial story? One of the clearest signs that someone will eventually achieve extraordinary success is the size of their vision. Vision is the ability to see possibilities that do not yet exist. Right now, your current circumstances might not fully reflect your dreams. Maybe you are still learning, building, or starting from the very beginning. But inside your mind, you can already see a different life. You imagine financial freedom. You imagine opportunities, growth, and stability that your family has never experienced before. That vision might feel distant right now, but it is incredibly powerful. Every great achievement in history began as a vision in someone's mind. Before the success, before the recognition, there was simply a person who believed something greater was possible. So here is an important question. What does your future look like when you imagine the best version of your life? Now we arrive at the most powerful realization of all. After listening to these signs, you might begin to understand something important. The person destined to become the richest in their family often starts as the one who simply believes change is possible. They are not always born with advantages. They are not always supported in the beginning, but they carry something incredibly valuable, a mindset that refuses to accept limitations. Maybe that person is you. Maybe you are the one who will build opportunities your family never had. Maybe you are the one who will transform struggle into prosperity. Maybe you are the one who will show the next generation what is possible when courage meets determination. But remember this truth: success does not happen overnight. It is built through discipline, learning, resilience, and faith in your vision. And before you leave this video, I want to ask you something very important. Do you truly believe you are meant to become the richest in your family? Or are you still discovering your path? Write your answer in the comments. Your words could inspire thousands of people who are watching silently. If this message touched your heart, take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. Because here on Mirror of the Soul, we believe something powerful. Sometimes all it takes to change a family's destiny is one person who refuses to give up. And that person might be you.